guys, welcome back to another video. We got Dave pretending to work, but what we're really doing today
is we're all watching Charlie work right here.
You guys know I'm all about promoting blue collar. I'm all about promoting the next generation of blue collar, and we got the best of the best right here. Charlie has been one of the hardest working kids I've encountered in a long time. This dude absolutely puts in work and does not complain. So Dave is giving him a little lesson on the planer today, and Charlie's absolutely crushing it, planing some of these 2x8s, which are going to be framing out kind of the exterior jam here. I'm going to give you guys a whole walkthrough. This restaurant has made quite the transformation since the last time we filmed here.
So how far can we go ahead and start it. How far can we turn that crank and still be okay? How far can we lower our blade at a time and still be okay?
Half turn.
Half turn, all right. So, okay, and that's kind of the kind of locker, and then go ahead and spin that a half turn. Cool, and then lock it, pushing this back down.
All right, Charlie, we're also gonna teach you to finish concrete today, so I don't have to do this. What else can we do?
Put the rubber on the
doors.
doors.
Yeah, we'll teach you to put the rubber on the doors, and I'll bump your pay. 2 extra candy pieces today.
Oh, dude, check this out, man. Look what I got.
You know, I've thought about buying you a whole box like that.
Now, I do have good news about the front of the building. If you guys watched a couple videos ago, or actually the last video on the restaurant itself, you saw that the terrible stucco patch job that the stucco guys did, and it looked absolutely horrible, even though they're matching up to really crappy stucco, but the transition was just horrible. So we actually had the painter out here with a grinder and some sanders, and he was able to feather that transition to where the untrained eye will never notice that something kind of funky happened there. So that is good. And then once everything was painted, which you can see behind me right now, it all kind of tied in well, and it still looks a whole lot better than the stucco right there on this building. So we lucked out and dodged that bullet.
Charlie, tell the people what you're doing, buddy.
Cut in the holes for the rubber that's gonna go on the doors.
We've pretty much got
our louvre door setup done here. And
what we're working on right now, and a lot of you guys mentioned it when you looked at all the other doors, it's like, oh, there's gaps around all the doors you guys are making. And we've been putting weather stripping on. I'll show you guys kind of on the bifold, trifold doors over there. But essentially what we've done is we've got flat bar all the way around to create a stop. And anywhere there's gonna be a gap, like down below here, we extend it down with a piece of flat bar, and then we use a piece of rubber on the bottom, which as you can see, seals up nicely right there. This piece kind of tucks up underneath, but it is there as well. You'll see when the door opens up. But she does seal up nicely. And then we use another piece of flat bar and we screw it on from the back. And we've got a piece of double-sided tape there. We pull that off, that helps the rubber to stick. Where's the number? That's the outside. Hit it, buddy. There we go. All right. Good work, buddy, good work. Going for the reinstall, if I don't trip and fall. Good work. Now we'll get our screws in there. There we go. Good work, buddy. Now, one thing there's no shortage of on any of our job sites, especially if I'm around, is snacks and candy. So much so that I had to take a break. We were eating way too much candy in a day. What do we got today, Dave?
Well, so me and Charlie went to the Rite Aid to get some water because the plumber didn't show up. We don't have drinking water today. So we got these sweet tart ropes, and Charlie was like, "Oh, I like these sweet tart ropes," you know. And I was like,
pretty bomb. They are pretty bomb.
And then I was like, Mamba, man. When I was Charlie's age, Mamba was like my sweet tart rope, you know.
Right.
But you know, they didn't have magic sticks.
No, they were just a rectangle.
Yeah, man. So I was like, get them. We'll do a competition, kind of like XXX Tacion, but it's a competition.
So you can see we've got some rap playing in the background. Dave learned who XXX Tentacion. How do you say it, Charlie? This is Charlie's world.
Tentacion.
I don't even know how to say it.
Charlie's the most gangster one on the job site.
Charlie was totally singing along to it. I was like, what? Are you serious?
Charlie knows. Don't let the Texas hunting hat over here fool you.
I mean, we were listening to Jason Isbell directly before XXX Tentacion. All right, so
what flavor is this? Is that a strawberry? Mango strawberry? Okay, mango strawberry. It's a weird color, but go ahead. Oh, Charlie's out. Charlie's already out. Day 2?
Well, hang on.
Okay.
I've never even had
Oh,
the
those are
rope
my
gun.
jam right there.
I mean, dog, I still have the Jolly Rancher Chew on my brain. Those are kind of hard to beat.
Oh, these are the hard ones. We have gone through about 3 bags of those and like 8 bags of the chews.
Once you go Jolly Rancher Chew, it's over.
All right, we've now had the sweet tart rope. What do you think?
Yeah, the rope wins for
Rope
sure.
wins?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Charlie agrees.
But
It's like a higher flavor saturation on the rope.
Did you swirl it and sniff it?
Yeah, it's got good legs.
Okay, good.
Now, I've told Dave, and I've been avoiding the candy for the about 5 days clean now from the candy.
I'm Dave, I'm here for support.
Thanks, buddy. But I'll be damned if this here watermelon raspberry mamba that I've never had in my life is looking real good right now, Dave. Light me up, buddy. Light me up. Y'all pulled my leg too hard, man. I'm getting back on the sugar train. That's pretty good, man. It's smooth. It's got a smooth flavor profile.
I think it's watermelon. Charlie said so too.
Yeah, try it.
Charlie gave an audible ooh.
It's like a Starburst, but it's smoother.
You know what? The Mamba Magic Sticks wasn't a total loss. You know? I mean, it's a more sophisticated flavor than the ropes.
So we'll have Charlie demonstrate here the louver doors. Charlie, open these things up from the inside.
These are probably our favorite doors. There we go. Kick them all open. Boom, boom, boom. Looking good, buddy. We got the threshold down there. This was
If you guys remember the very first video we filmed here, I think it was the first one, might have been the second video. But this is like the first thing that we kind of designed in our heads just by grabbing random parts at the metal supply house. But all we used was basically the end caps of like a railing system. And then obviously we need to touch the pin a little bit there. Thought it getting in this rubber piece, but that and a little round tubing welded onto this things, and
they turn beautifully. And you can kind of see the idea with the rubber strip up there and sealing.
what?
Why you want to ruin my vibe like that?
Why, because I turned down your rap music?
Yeah.
Oh. Charlie, give us a rundown. What's going on with the booths?
oh,
Great rundown, Charlie.
so Corey and Nick today put the legs on the booths, most of them.
Most of them, all right. And put them in place, right? Kinda, sorta. That's where that goes. This one's gonna scooch over. That one's gonna be backed up against the louvered door there. So we're not really worried. Like, these aren't actually gonna be doors. We're calling them more windows. Nobody's gonna be passing through the louvers, just to open up the airflow through this entire place, because that whole wall will be open of our bifold, trifold doors. And then you'll just have this massive airflow coming through and all the smells of the great food, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of see the booth layout going in. Actually, I mean, we got most of the booths back. You can see from the upholsterer, everything looking nice and tight. We're gonna tell them about all the lights. We got the lights in. I don't think those were in the last time we filmed here. Well, those light fixtures, those ones might have been in here. I don't know if those were in here. These ones are all new. What happened, Charlie?
Nick either doesn't know how to measure or he just lied about his measurements.
A man lying about measurements?
Doc, 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. It was the weirdest thing in the world. I was like,
Uh-oh.
let's try 4 inches, like 4 and 4 from the corners and in from the edges. And I came back, you know, and the legs were there, and I was like, is that 4 and 4? And Nick was like, mm-hmm. And then, and then
Pass the test.
Oh, Nick was just testing you guys. Nick was just testing.
And they did.
Like, I have no reason not to trust Nick. Like, why in the world would Nick lie to me, like, about anything, much less?
Well, every man's lied about 4 inches, you know? It's all right. Everybody was tearing you apart while you were gone, Nick.
I don't care because he only has 4 inches.
There you go. You tell him, Nick. You tell him.
Dang, dude, like, just because I'm semi, you know? Just because I'm semi at 4, you know? I mean,
Okay, y'all, we are back for day 2 of this video, and I guess I showed up at the right time. Dave was going ahead and roguely mixing some concrete right there, and this is all rapid set. You have like minutes, not 30, not an hour, but like 10 if you're lucky. And I rolled up right as he was mixing it. I'm like, bro, you should probably wait until somebody else was here to help you. But that one we got down good, and then he decided we're gonna do 2 at a time, which is always very risky with rapid set. So that one doesn't quite look as good getting patched in there, but this one turned out pretty good. We'll take you guys inside. We got some good stuff going on inside. Well, first, let's take a look at the louver doors here.
Well, I guess, again, windows, because they're behind the booth.
There's virtually no way you can hide 6 minutes.
I don't even know how to build off of that, Dave.
Great setup, buddy. How's the table? Let's talk about this plum cake instead.
What else can you say?
Right?
But as you guys can see, we got good news. We got this weird chair circle that the guys made over here, and then sat me. Well, my chair was gone, but they sat me here and gave me an intervention of not really sure what, but we had a little intervention. But getting all the chairs built here. Corey's crushing it on the chairs, getting all the tables built. This is our first little test one here. I'm comfortable, Dave. I'm comfortable. Now I'm not comfortable. Now I'm not comfortable. Now we've also got some kitchen updates for you guys. You guys can see. You can see we've got a lot of equipment going in back here. This is nothing we are touching. We want nothing to do with kitchens. There's kitchen companies out there for a reason, so this is all getting built out by a kitchen company, not us. We're just here for support if they need something, like building a new platform for the big old giant water heater that this place has, for the new water heater they got put in. Great work, Dave.
Thanks, Todd. You know, I was doing this outside last night, and there were 4 girls on the corner, women really, watching me, and they were all smiling at me.
All right, get out of the way so the upholstery guys can put our sweet new bench in. All right, Dave's over here being a barista.
Uh-huh.
A
barista.
A barista. Oh, sorry.
A barist.
A barist. All right, making a little Nespresso for the plumber.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
I go with Sumatra. A lot of people feel like the way that they roast their beans are a little burned. They claim.
Okay.
I kind of like that as a part of the Sumatra flavor.
So Dave likes crappy coffee. So if you ever you go to like Home Depot and you see that there's like coffee sitting at the front, or like a hardware store or a supply house, and they always have like some disgusting container of coffee that's been sitting there for like 20 something hours, that's Dave's favorite type of coffee. Now, while Dave's playing barista,
We're gonna be over here. If you guys remember when we built the bifold, trifold doors, this wing right here, she swings a little bit freely once this thing's all folded up against the wall. So, not that it's that big of a deal, but we don't want this thing moving like it's doing right now with the wind. So, we've got these super strong rare earth magnets here with the countersunk hole, which these would also work great for locating studs.
you guys have probably seen me do that a bunch on my channel. It's one of my favorite tricks. I actually learned it from Dave, Dave is a big fan of the high-powered magnets. And
so you guys can kind of see how high-powered this is. I mean, we're about 10 inches to a foot away from that magnet right there, and she's just waiting to snap to us. But I've gone ahead and drilled a hole right here and tapped it. Oh, jeez. Look at this. You walk away from your bar one time there, Mr. Barista. What happened, buddy?
Well, he's a Padres fan, so now I'm going to draw SD in here.
Okay. Oh, beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, man, that's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Okay. Oh, I like your cardboard, don't burn the crap out of yourself. This is the most professional presentation of coffee I've ever seen in my life.
Gotta take care of your plumbers, man.
There you go, okay. Great work, man.
You take care of your plumbers and they'll take care of you, right, Scott?
Alrighty, let's see. Oh, jeez, if we can screw this in without pinching the crap out of ourselves. Okay, well, or that happening. These boogers are strong. And not scratching the crap out of the door paint. Okay, there might be some touch-up paint in our future. Don't get pinched. Don't get pinched. All right, I think we got it. We'll do a little test. Look at that, solidly locked together. Good thing about working with magnets though is you can bring all your stuff with you. All right, y'all, so the centerpiece bench that we have going on right here, you guys remember
Where's my tape, man?
I don't know, that's your problem, man. I didn't steal your tape. I did not steal your tape.
I think you did.
This center booth bench right here, obviously it's booth on this side. Well, I'm not gonna unwrap that. And then this side is gonna be the visual art piece that kind of basically divides the spaces.
and it's where you're gonna want to take pictures of in front of for Instagram and all that. So Dave, what are we gonna be doing here?
So, you want to make a sculpture, huh?
I probably should wait till you finish your food. Oh, wait. Oh, jeez.
Alright, so what we want to do is we want to make this platform for the sculpture. If we were going to build a sculpture here, we'd take the white countertop material and we go down, over, and down. And we take our TNG and we stick it in here behind that. And then we kind of want to make some crazy colorful thing that kind of divides the room, but we can still see through it. So we got a couple ideas. One, we can get some steel, bend it, paint it, get weld on some all thread, and then bolt it to some flat bar-y type shelves down here. Or what I want to do, which is a lot more work. I have this thing about bent metal tubes. I use the term airport art freely because to me, taking a steel I-beam and cutting it with a torch and maybe adding and bolting some glass on it doesn't make you cool, man. It's I call that airport art. Like, it's overused. I just grew up where it was overused. Like taking a bunch of metal tubes and welding them together and then powder coating that object. It doesn't, like, you know, that's like, we've been doing that since pre-Civil War. You know, it's not my game, you know? Like, and there's a place for it, we might do that here, you know? Like, we might do that here. But I have an idea. When we initially started this project, I'll show you, let me show you that SketchUp. You can see in there we have this, what they call in the business, a columnar expression. That means columns, okay? Now, if we're gonna make this thing, okay, and this is where I was just talking about all the concrete material would go on these three sides, not wood. This I would make out of bender board, and then it's kind of easy to, you know, we use a router, and then we'd staple some bender board on it. Well, that'd be too easy, you know? Like, that would be what we do if we did that, and then like we'd probably make some of these crazier, you know, like glue some little knobs on them, texturize it, you know? Okay. Get a little crazy. The whole time we've been making the restaurant, I've been thinking about this, but in my wife's fairness, the whole time she's like, yeah, maybe something like this, we'll figure it out as we go. Which, if you want it to be good art, then it should probably have an element of spontaneity to it. Like, it probably should. So, whatever.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's how we started, and then one day I came home and it comes up that, like, hey, we need to get on with the sculpture thing. So I came home to a drawing that Anna made where this is the platform, this is the beam, and this is typical of how me and Anna work.
That's his
and
wife.
Then there is a line like that. You know, I think it was actually like this. And she was like, you know, we could do something like that. I think it was actually more like this. I like that a lot more than this, you know? Like, I think that's cooler because I started to have this vision of an abstract brushstroke. So the way that it was drawn, there's like a couple of different layers to it like that. So I immediately thought about how cool that would be if we, you know, had a pack of these lines. It started a kind of like Tron. Or another idea that she had, you know, just to continue the beam and the platform here was, and then she called it these algebra book shapes, you know, where they were like, so a little more chopped up like that. So you know, in the same way that I like a Tacoma, you know, I don't know what that is about it, but I'm attracted to this way more than I am attracted to the algebra book. Using fiberglass is something that, like, me and Rhino have done in the past. It's not a whole lot of fun.
Nope.
It's kind of cool because you're working with Bondo, which dries pretty quick. I like working with it because it dries pretty quick, although the dust is pretty gnarly. But you can kind of do these organic shapes with fiberglass, and then
make a hard shell, which then gets it paintable and glassy. And Dave earlier used like the Disneyland reference, or even think about like you go out front of a grocery store back in the day, and there's like this sweet car or a helicopter, and it's like a hard shell on it, but it's nice and glossy and painted and smooth. And that's kind of the look we're going for. Now, how do you execute that, Dave?
Well, there's a myriad of ways, you know. You could CNC this shape out of anything, wood, foam, aluminum, like whatever. You could get it CNC'd.
Now, between me and Dave, there's usually one of us that tries to simplify something and one of us that really goes to the nth degree and makes it totally harder, and usually it ends up being cooler. And we flip-flop from time to time. Sometimes I'm the one that's like, no, screw that, let's simplify it, like right now. And then sometimes there's Dave that's like, let's just weld some hinges on it, and I'm like, no, let's make that harder, but it'll be cooler.
So this is Dave's opposed to just having some sweet mandrel bent 4-inch pipe all out of steel that we can powder coat, and it'll all be computer controlled to be the same. Or
we make a bend out of ABS pipe, which I can control. I mean, I'm not a computer, but I can control all these cuts.
Right.
On a saw. And then I guess the fiberglass piece is in there. You want to go in there? So I can build, I mean, we're only talking about like 4 or 5 of these objects, you know? Like there's not a whole lot to them. To build them out of ABS, glue them together so that they have some rigidity teeth, and then
let me help you, buddies.
take this foam insulation, which is in stock, local plumbing supply at Ferguson's, you know, glue that seam together or whatnot, tape it together, kind of like pinch this together on one hand. On the other hand, it'll seamlessly make the pipe insulation only comes in 6-foot increments. So packing tape it, and then at first I was thinking fiberglass like we do, but now we're kind of, I picked up some of the epoxies that they use at like Disneyland and whatnot. So we'd be able to make all 4 or 5 curves exactly the same from the carpentry on the ABS pipe, and then make these foamy things a little harder so that then we can get that paint on there. The difference here is that how many restaurants do you walk into and you see like a CNC cutout out of plywood or MDF or whatever as like a thing? A lot. Like it happens a lot, okay? And the reason it happens is because it's more precise, it's fast, and it's kind of cheap. I'm not opposed to the pipe. The difference between the having steel bent and doing what we're doing here is if you walk in and you see the steel pipe bent in the whatever and painted, your brain is going to solve that puzzle immediately. If you walk in and you see this freak show of an idea well executed, which just having the pipe in there as its foundation means that the carpenters in us can really nail that down as in a level of precision that 90% of the population can't. The fact that nobody knows what it is, but they know it's not steel, adds an element of mystery. When you walk in and you see an object and you don't know how it's made, you can't name it, and so you have to appreciate that moment of not being able to name it, and that's something you're not gonna get with metal pipes. And I think that something handcrafted like that is more work, you know, when you put it in the realm of this precision, I mean, or let's just call it cared for carpentry, like when you're in the sea of cared for handmade craftsmanship, you know, people who care about what they're doing, and you put this in the mix of that, I think you're gonna get a way higher sense of appreciation for it.
Now, I'll show you guys outside here what my concern is. And I've done a lot of work with Dave. We've done a lot of like real high dense styrofoam stuff, then we coat it in fiberglass, and from there you can sand it, shape it, and get it smooth.
Now this is not super dense foam, so you can see it's, you know, it's pretty squishy. So Dave wrap this in packing tape, and then put a coat of his, like, I don't even, what do you, epoxy? Is that what it is? I mean, is
It's
it?
Epsilon. Like, it's a world of silicone, which is a whole subculture of silicone. It's insane. Like,
You can tell who the more artsy one is in the group of me and Dave here. But anyway, so he's done one coat on here.
And while it's given it some rigidity, it's still got some squish to it. Now, we don't know what 2 or 3 coats looks like yet because nobody's experimented with it. It takes 16 hours for this stuff to, like, fully harden.
It's a 2-part epoxy. You have to sit there, weigh it out, and mix it. So it's not like you can just slap on 3 coats real quick and call it good. So what I worry about is this thing still having some squish to it to where we get it all nice and painted, and everybody that walks in pushes on it, mushes on it, and all of a sudden you got paint cracking and weird stuff happening.
now here's another something that I want to bring up in front of your viewers. In the world of silicone, part of the reason that I'm such a fan of it is because they make an Epsilon Pro, okay, which is in the same family. However, it's made to bend.
Right.
But the other thing I don't like about that is that I like using Bondo. Like, I still plan on, you see all these little brainy grooves in here, you know, a little skim coat with the Bondo, you know, it really helps all that. But the other reason I've chosen Epsilon is because it's sandable, and I know that using the tape as a way, like, now I can break down these little grooves that stand up. Now I can give a recoat. And again, to reiterate what I was talking about, the difference between the steel pipe and this, with the steel pipe, you're gonna see where the rollers kind of ride on that pipe.
Right.
In that kind of that same sort of way, I don't know that we need to be perfect on this. As long as we don't start to tell you how it was made.
Right.
I think that an imperfection will only add to what I was saying about how 95% of the restaurants have a computer-generated perfect thing. And ours is going to deviate from that into like a more Murakami. There's this big pop art anime, fiberglassy,
Okay.
sort of sculptures. Like, it's so, like, I mean, it'll be well crafted, but I think that, I mean, obviously we'd sand it down and recoat it again, but I don't know that there's anything wrong with having it not be perfect.
So that's where we're torn between. You know, you got a Rhino that, like, I could see the beauty in a perfect, smooth piece of pipe, and also knows how much work it's gonna take. Like, and it's not that we're trying to dodge work, it's just that there's something with a restaurant being quick, dirty, and cheap. That, like,
Yeah.
It's we're talking a long time. I mean, we're talking.
I'd probably say 2 weeks to make 4 of them.
And like, this is, I don't know, 20 something feet of pipe per, at least, right? By the
No,
time we
way
went.
more than
What do you
that.
think? 40 feet of pipe per 2?
You know, to Rhino's point, I was like, holy shit, like, it's way too much work. But then I realized, like, shit, we only have like that much room on that platform, so we'd only have to do, like, I was saying 4, Rhino was saying 5.
So either way, let's just say 800 feet that we have to epoxy multiple times over.
I'd say go down to 300.
Okay, 300 feet we got to epoxy multiple times over, sand multiple times over, fill, polish, buff, like, paint. Like, you guys saw on the way back in the channel when I made a piece of popcorn. The amount of times you fiberglass, think you're cool, go in, see a little imperfection, chase it, all of a sudden it's a big hole. Now you got to refill it. Like, there was so much just refilling and touching up that I know, and Dave knows also what we're getting into here by going this route. That's why I like the, you know, mandrel bent steel pipe, and I can understand why the artisan Dave hates that. But this is the conundrum. This is the stuff that we encounter from time to time, and well, you know what? Either way, we're gonna win.
You got a point there.
Now, I hate to leave you guys on that, but we got a lot of figuring and planning to see if we can even bend this stuff the way that we want to bend it. So that's what we're going to do right now. But with that, we're going to wrap up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys would be so kind as to like and subscribe to the channel that we do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you got to be willing to work for it. You guys are the best.
Damn. Bam, bam, bam. Imagine me on roller skates. Bam, bam, bam.
Damn. Yeah. Uh.